Alright, we're ranking every single player in a BLUELOCK's France versus Japan match. All 15 players on BLUELOCK's side and 11 players on France's side. The second match of the U20 World Cup was one of the most intense games in the entire series. Some players absolutely shined this game and others had some of their worst performances yet. Y'all know the drill by now. We'll be ranking them out of 10 based on their performance or impact on the game in the most brutal way possible. This game is by far the craziest in terms of ranking, so we got a lot of slander to go over, a lot of glaze at the same time, and what better way than to start it with Isagi Yoichi. Jumping straight into it, no sugarcoating, this is Isagi's worst performing match in a long time. Our boy absolutely had it rough this game, having both good and bad moments. At the beginning of the game, he got shut down by Hiryo almost instantly, chain snatched, read bro like a book, and knew everything about him to the minute detail. Any weapon, any move, anything Isagi had up his sleeve, Hiryo was already aware of. And it doesn't stop there because Hiryo gets in Isagi's head, trying to convince him to become a number 2. And you can tell this affected his performance. His face was just pure shock every other second, and this resulted in him making a mad desperate shot, which got caught. That sparked the widespread Isagi slander throughout the community. He could not catch a break. Hiryo was calling him mid, and then everyone reading was calling him mid-soggy. It was just the worst day ever for bro. His teammates ignoring him, getting rage baited. All the while, Hiryo was literally eye to eye with him, giving him no personal space. That was until the last 3 chapters of the game, where he used Ultra Instinct, pulled out the white-haired mode, and stole the ball away from Hiryo, who couldn't even predict him. This was the get back that Isagi fans were waiting for, and eventually he drags Hiryo into a luck battle, wins the faithful 1v1, and that's all, folks. Everyone is gripping their chairs in excitement. Isagi scores, we get the happy ending, and nothing happened afterwards. Alright, but for real, Rin sold Isagi's shot, which would have tied that match. Isagi didn't have any standout plays besides that one, but we still see him contribute to some passes and attacks. In this France game, contributing anything gives you some brownie points, so you can just tell how badly everyone performed. That being said though, what do I think Isagi ranks at? This is the lowest I've ranked Isagi since the start of the Brutal Ranking series. If he didn't have that last play potential goal, he would be even lower, but I think he did average. I'm giving Isagi a 5 out of 10 ranking. And trust me when I say this, so many different players underperformed on BLUELOCK's side. We have a lot of slander to go over, but because we talked about a BLUELOCK player, let's move on to France's side and start with Charles, the young prodigy making his second appearance in a game. Unlike Isagi, who performed at the end of the game, Charles did the complete opposite and came out with a bang, unexpectedly scoring in the first chapter where there was a literal kickoff. Add some D1 defense against Isagi, who ended up missing the shot, blocking Shido 2, and also another assist towards Hiryo. He ended with 1 goal and 1 assist, albeit a gifted assist because Hiryo did all the work, but still an assist. There were multiple times where he was confused, losing a play and saying, "Bwaha?" But I mean, considering half the stuff we were seeing on the field, I don't blame him. I would say the only complaint is that we didn't see more of Charles's passing or his chemical reaction with Loki. Hiryo got most of the spotlight this game, so unfortunately Charles was put to the side. He had one of the best performances this match, but the question is who ranks where? Is he worthy of a top 3 performance or just fall short? We'll find out soon because I'm giving Charles an 8.5 out of 10. So far we had some decently high ratings, but the same can't be said about Oliver Aiku, who absolutely disappointed this match. And that's putting it lightly. His performance this match, I would go as far to say that it was a crime against humanity because Aiku didn't touch the ball once. You heard that right. Mans was just doing cardio for 92 minutes straight. In fact, the crossbar got more blocks than Aiku. Genuinely, what even happened? It's nonsensical. We went from carrying the Japan U20 team to looking like laundry with how washed we are. And it sucks because Aiku is a cool character too. The only significant play I can remember was him pulling up with Nico and Ryu like damn Disney bullies 1v3 and leaving Gagamaru to fend for himself against everyone else. This is not a strategy I would approve of. In fact, I feel like the old Aiku wouldn't even approve of this play, so what possessed them to do this here, I don't know. Fast forward to the end of the game, and the only times we see Aiku was this panel of him reaching for the stars and him laid out on the ground looking like an optical illusion. No wonder why he was getting slandered. Aiku was just lollygagging this match. He's gonna get a 0 out of 10 Mickey Mouse performance. the first of many. Now, I understand, unlike the Neo Egoist League, these games are really quick, so there will be less feats, but even accounting for that, I can't find anything good to say for him. That kind of goes for the whole Blue Lock defense, though, because we were just letting anybody through at this point. I get this is France, the best U20 team, but RU was disappointing as well. I wouldn't say as bad as Aiku, but this right here is the only panel of RU doing something. He had one touch the whole game. Again, significantly better than Aiku, and this led them to getting a counterattack and eventually a goal, but in this certain situation, he better win here. It was a height battle to get to the ball first. If RU lost this, he would lose all social credit up to this point. It's more of a you did your job, congratulations, than actually being excited. 1 block compared to 0 block is like trash versus garbage. This is the same energy as your homie getting a higher grade than you, but y'all still failed the test. Are you getting a 1 out of 10? As harsh as I'm being, this game was literally known as a hyper offensive formation from both sides, a quote no guard all out brawl, so the defense is kind of expected to be bad. Someone from Blue Lock's side that actually did good though was Hiryo. This game, he really proved himself, scoring a goal, got some passes, even some amazing dribbles to start or continue plays. Loki actually got sauced up by bro too, so add another new gen to Hiyori's dribbling. In fact, he would have assisted Isagi as he was the one to pass to him, which technically meant he would have got past Loki yet again, if only unfortunate circumstances didn't happen. There isn't really anything bad to say about Hiryo, which is a breath of fresh air. Enjoy it while it lasts, folks, because there is exclusively only slander soon. And for his ranking, Hiyori's gonna get the first actually good rating for Blue Lock of a 7.5. Y'all, I know everyone's been waiting for me to talk about a certain character, like a damn campfire story. The most infamous player this match, yes, it's time for itoshi Rin's ranking. To put it lightly, they did almost irreversible damage to Rin's character. There was genuine development to the slander. I'm talking a beginning, a rising action, a climax, and a resolution. So we had to take a look back at the start and see where it truly went wrong. Rin towards the beginning wasn't bad at all. I mean, we see him get bullied by Hugo a little, but this man Rin just runs a fade against any new gen. In fact, he was one of very few players that actually had a noteworthy play. Going against Julian Loki, hit him with the Itoshi Side Classic, threw hands, and then got a shot on target, but then Hugo teleported out of nowhere. It makes sense that getting double teamed by 2 new gens, the attack failed. But after this strong start, Rin quite literally disappeared. I'm not even joking. The community was calling him a Rinvisible. Bro, as creative as that is, do you know how bad you had to go for people to call you invisible? That in of itself was already the catalyst for the Rin slander. So after going MIA, getting the milk, the next time he appears is when Isagi chooses Karasu and him getting jealous. Nah, Itoshi Rin really pulled the how can I make this about me card. The jokes just write themselves. This started another slander for bro, the tsundere yandere Rin allegations. I can even attempt to explain why Rin was feeling abandoned in this way, but the second I do, people are just gonna say he's a jealous ex. I can't win. It's hard to believe this is not all to the Rin slander, because after being gone, after being a yandere, he decides to pull up last second after Isagi won the 1v1 against Hugo, giving him the name Bush Camper Rin. But after being left on a cliffhanger for a shot, we had to all wait in anticipation for a week to see if they made the goal. But I don't gotta act like I don't know, y'all don't know what the result of this shot was. Rin absolutely sells the shot, shooting it alongside Isagi. And oh, brother, Rin, it's so over for you. The community is about to spawn generational slander. And generational slander they did, because one day into Rin missing the shot, any comment, any post, any picture was about how Rin sold the game. And as a Rin fan, thank you so much, my dear viewers. I didn't have a single moment's rest when it came to people pointing out my GOAT. And I can't even say anything because they're low-key right. All I can say is stay on that side for the Spain game. Some of the most creative slander was born here, though. People were saying they understand how Psy feels. They were saying Rin's destroyer mode destroyed his chances of winning. And the worst one, Rin gave an assist to Loki. Yes, folks, because after Rin sold the shot, the ball ended up going to Loki, and he made a solo run to score at the last second. This is actually just griefing the game. Someone check Rin's bank account. He had to have been paid for this play. In fact, people were saying Rin helped the France team more than some of their actual players, defense, and to reach that level of slander, it's something you truly can't recover from. So we went from taking on new gens to getting abracadabra'd out of the game, turning into a yandere, bush camping the shot, and selling said shot. Rin, what have they done to you, my goat? But slander aside, very quickly, where does itoshi Rin rank? He didn't do nothing like Aiku. That shot on target, taking on Loki. He's seen taking the ball upfield as well. Then he sold and pretty much negated all the good things he did in this match. So Rin's ranking, as much as it pains my heart, it was trash. Give him a 1 out of 10. Just end the pain already. The common trend for this game is that a lot of people underperformed. We still have a lot of people who did bad on BLUELOCK side, like Gagamaru. Conceding 4 goals is crazy, and if not for Kunigami, it would have been 5 goals. Here's the thing, even if we, like Gagamaru, blocking 0 shots this match, we can't justify that. I won't lie, he did have a Mickey Mouse defender, so his job was 10 times harder, and BLUELOCK just decided to go full on offense, so he had no help. Regardless, blocking 0 shots is worthy of another 0 out of 10 performance. Gagamaru did bad, but at least he had a purpose. Atoya was just kind of there. He honestly forgettable. I feel like he got his few wows and claps, entered the field, dribbled past some players, and got blocked. That happened all in like 1 chapter, and then we didn't see him afterwards. I feel like Kaneshiro just wanted Atoya to play so that he can put everyone on the pitch at least once. At least he didn't throw the game like Rin and actually touch the ball, unlike the defenders. He did only play for 15 minutes. You know it's bad when one play is literally a high standard for the game. So I'm gonna give Atoya a 3.5 out of 10. Now, it's not just BLUELOCK that underperformed. The France defenders were just as bad, if not worse. My eyes were glued looking for one singular play, and I didn't get that. And I think that's the problem for this game. We didn't have enough chapters to give everyone some feeds, because look at Chappa. This guy did absolutely nothing. He's a different case too, because we saw him in the PXG game. He did nothing there as well. Back-to-back game with a big donut as your feet. This might just be the biggest fraud in the entire series. I remember back then people were saying he's gonna be a new gen. I wouldn't even be surprised if most of y'all didn't know he existed. He wasn't doing anything here. He didn't do anything in the PXG game. Trash player, bottom generation 11, 0 out of 10. Moist Critical also didn't do much. His name was Delon. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know that was his name. He just looks like Moist Critical. All he did was just get dribbled past. Now, you can make the argument that since France conceded less, they should be higher than the Japan defenders, who did nothing and conceded more. I also like his character design. We might need to add some brownie points because of that. So Delon getting a 0.5 out of 10, just a speck above someone like Aiku. And wow, another defender that didn't do anything. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Gabon from France, no passes, no presses, no blocks, a 0.5 out of 10 for the same reason. It's not all doom and gloom for the France team, though. Renoir was the first competent goalie outside of Gagamaru, and even outperformed him this match. Granted, it was just 1 block, but catching Isagi's shot, giving comms from the back, you can tell his heart is in the game, and that's what I like to see. So this might be a little bit of a high ranking, but I'm gonna give bro a strong 5 out of 10. Denied a goal, actually had a presence in this game. It ain't that hard. The other France players gotta take notes. Now, we've been on a hot streak of underperforming players, so let's get a little cleanse and talk about someone that did good on BLUELOCK side, and that's Barou. Now, with Barou's ranking, he always gets downplayed in the community. He scored a goal, which is the most impactful thing you can do. That automatically shoves him up so many rankings, and although he didn't do much besides that, he got a few dribbles, got stopped by Hugo. That goal is enough to put him as one of the best performances from BLUELOCK side. The style he did it in too, jumping in out of nowhere, chomping on Karasu's crow like it's good eats, and then curved into the top bins. Yeah, I'm glad he's getting his flowers. I'm gonna give Barou a 7 out of 10. I'm glad he did good this game. Since we just talked about one of them, we have to talk about the other Joker. Shido kind of got hoed this match, and I think everyone knows that. We saw him spawn a damn demon in the middle of the field. He takes on Loki, helps move the ball upfield, and regardless of his performance, this guy is just an entertainer. I personally like Barou more than Shido, but just seeing this guy play, either through his dialogue or just some random BS he's doing, you know it's gonna be cinema. You know you're gonna get hyped. You can also make the argument that he helped set up the play for Barou to steal the goal. Otherwise, it would have been a 50-50 between him and Loki. I think a lot of us were expecting a goal from him, though. I'm assuming Kaneshiro was trying to subvert expectations, so I don't think he got his shining moment this game, but he didn't do bad like any of the others. So I'm gonna give him a 5 out of 10. You can argue for both higher and lower depending on what you value more. Let's move over to the midfield, and on France's side, we we had Camus and Layden. And right away, I gotta give my applause, because finally some NPCs are doing something. Starting with Camus, we saw him lock up Batra, and low-key, that was kind of it. He was specifically trained for him, then got mixed up by Atoya, Karasu, and whatnot. Still getting that fee, involving himself in other plays, and even getting a damn aura. It still really was like one play, so I'm gonna give him a 3.5 out of 10, same as other players who had one play. Layden, I think, did a little bit better than him, held off Chigiri and caught up to his speed, caught him with the wide eyes and everything, dribbled past Isagi, making him look like quick work, and got a cross off against Ryu. This was a perfect pass that literally would have resulted in a goal if not for Kunigami, and I don't think we've seen that before. An NPC getting an assist, especially on this big of a stage. So I'm gonna give him a 5 out of 10. He technically only had 2 positive plays. The pass didn't result in anything, but still one of the best performances from an NPC we've seen. We just talked about them too. Chigiri and Batra, we all know it already. They got done dirty, although I wouldn't say as bad as the defenders. Chigiri got one cross over to Ryo, got a hand on Loki helping Karasu stop him, and then couldn't get past Layden. That's literally it for the Chigiri highlights before he got sent to the bench. Low-key, Chigiri just gets griefed by Ego because he keeps putting him on the wrong side and can't use his 44 Panther snipe. I think Chigiri easily could have moved up a few points because of that, but based on this game, he had 2 plays just like Layden, just not that pass, so I'm gonna put a 4.5 out of 10 for Chigiri. Batra, although he didn't do too much as well, he still did all right. He got the corner kick, getting past some players, and also sent a pass over to Isagi, which resulted in a shot on goal, but obviously we know Isagi hit the fattest brick. Unlucky for him, France paid the 500 yen NEL subscription, so Camus was locking him down and new bros every move. It's just an average game for Batra. I mean, one play like that is literally good compared to whatever the hell Rin and Aiku were doing, so I'll give him a 4 out of 10. Ryo is next up, and he did good. It wasn't the most innovative, mind-boggling plays coming from Ryo, but the little things definitely do add up. We saw him getting blocked by Hugo or covering him on 2 different occasions. The first time, he used himself as bait to create a goal opportunity for Isagi. That's very, very solid. And the next time, he still got the ball to Karasu even when being marked by Hugo. And just the fact that he was able to match up against him, making Hugo have to pay attention to him, is a very good feat. He only had 1 copy with Kunigami, but that was impressive as hell, literally weaving and baiting out 3 defenders with 1 singular play. Ryo did kind of ghost the rest of the match until he eventually got subbed out, but getting a few small but significant plays, it's not like he got stopped or anything either, so a 4.5 out of 10 performance for Ryo. We only got a few more players left, rounding out the France defenders. I mean, Hermes and Bats, who remembers these guys? They have some cold names, I won't lie. I mean, Bats is kind of pushing it, like, I'm a grown man and you want me to call you Bats? And that's about where their feet stop, literally at their names, because they didn't do anything. We see them marking some players, like Bats, for example, was constantly on Karasu. Hermes was just there. I think he got dribbled past less than other defenders. So honestly, I don't think they did as bad as the other France defenders. They had no positive impact, but not that big of a negative impact. So I'm gonna give them like a 0.7 out of 10. Yeah, I kind of just made up that number, but we have 5 players left. Some of the last defenders on BLUELOCK's side, starting with Nico, I think he did decent here. Besides joining the 3 Musketeers alongside Aiku and Ryu, Nico intercepted a pass and stole possession from Loki of all people. This led to BLUELOCK getting possession, and that is a Nico upscale if I've ever seen one. He's one of the few players that actually impressed Hugo this game too. We saw he got subbed out. Honestly speaking though, I feel like for the time he played, he did good, and he did more than someone like Aiku who played a whole game. Very important play coming from him, although it was 1 singular play, so I'm giving him a 4 out of 10. Arguably could even be higher. Kunigami was part of the halftime subs, and we saw him take over yet again the defensive midfielder position. I don't have anything bad to say. He did his job and blocked Loki. This was going to be a goal, so this block was very, very important. He did kind of fumble the block on the last play, leading to Loki getting a goal, but you can also shift that blame towards literally anyone else, especially Rin. This was just an average game for Kunigami. I feel like even the Kunigami fans weren't too satisfied with his appearance here. You could have made Ryu do the same exact thing and 0 difference would be made. So a 5 out of 10 for Kunigami. Now we're getting into the real performers this match. The best players were arguably Hugo, Karasu, and Loki. And let's start with the newly introduced character of this match, the new Gen 11, Vivian Hugo. Now, GOAT status is something that gets tossed around way too loosely nowadays. Y'all have to remember, this is the greatest of all time we're talking about. That should be a spot reserved for the highest echelon of players. And this man, Hugo, yeah, he absolutely deserves that status because start to finish, he was a literal robot on the field sent to terrorize the Japan team. To truly do him justice, you have to look at his feats. First play we see from bro is him dribbling past Isagi and stopping popping Rin, immediately 1v2ing the number ones of Blue Lock. At that point, I just knew it's cooked. Then he hits this laser beam pass to assist Charles in the first chapter of the game, mind you, and we haven't even gotten to his beef with Isagi. Because 2 chapters in, Hugo gets on Isagi and doesn't stop once. Just bullying bro, dunking his head in the toilet, telling him he's a number 2. He was treating Isagi like an NPC, patting him on the back like it was a casual stroll in the park. And this nonchalant Ayana Koji cosplayer was resting his chin on him, doing whatever the hell he wants. You know it's bad when Isagi is making faces like this, and the whole time Hugo is giving a damn speech about how his philosophy is better. He's explaining his whole backstory, lore, and his birth. And while he's yapping, what the hell, Isagi got put in a Michael Jackson pose, scored right in front of his face, then hit him with the emo all in the span of a first half. Yeah, Hugo was truly moving different, and this continued in the second half because he was involved in almost every single play, whether it be defending or attacking. I don't think us mere humans can comprehend what Hugo was doing because he then orchestrates, not even plan, because plan is to set actions in advance. He created this play where he takes every little detail, including Loki's speed, to hit a pass just in time for him to catch up to it and score, giving Hugo another assist. Hugo got it, bro. Just give him the MVP award. Hell, give him Person of the Year. This levels of domination matched Itoshi-sized U20 performance on an even bigger stage against a stronger Blue Lock. In the end, he took a gamble against Isagi because he respected the faithful 1v1. He did end up losing. Luckily, Rin came in clutch. But losing one time in literal overtime, it doesn't ruin everything else he's built up until this point. Hugo, I would argue, has the best debut in all of the series. One of the best characters we've seen. One of the best innovations for mankind as a whole. This should come to nobody's surprise. Other games, it's kind of close who you choose as an MVP, but I can't hide it. Hugo 100% is the MVP, and 11 out of 10 performance coming from him. We still have 2 top performers left though, and that ranking is a lot more ambiguous than Hugo. Did Loki outperform Karasu? Did Karasu make a big enough impact to do better than Loki? And did Charles do any better than them? So their ranking is a lot more debatable. Let's talk about Karasu, the strongest player from Blue Lock's side. Now, no matter if you're a fan of Karasu or you're not, you can't deny the impact he had on this game truly helped the Blue Lock get out of the mud. Let's get one thing straight. There was only 2 goals scored in this match, and he had both of those assists. Honestly, he handed that one to Hiyori as well. It didn't just stop there though, because Karasu was straight up saucing up defenders with his dribbling, marking important players, and created so many goal opportunities. This was absolutely his time to shine, and he did. Crow Aura gives him some brownie points because this was just gorgeous, and seeing him overtake the team was something completely new in Isagi's perspective. So I love the role his character served in this game. I loved his performance. At this point, I might love him. I can sing the praises of Karasu more, but end of the day, he really set up Blue Lock for success. Arguably, we would have been done like Nigeria without him. So Karasu is getting a 9 out of 10, a whole point and a half above Hiyori, who was the second best in Blue Lock. And now we're here at Julian Loki. I would say Loki probably had the most interesting performance this game. Right out of the gate, he kind of stumbled. Lots of expectations to perform. He didn't do anything of noteworthiness in the first half besides some cardio and going against Rin. I get that it was expectations placed on him from us as viewers, but that analogy has never made any sense to me. That's like your crush talking to you, giving you major hints, and then saying, nah, that was your own imagination making it up. There was a lot of evidence to prove so. At the end of the day, it's up to your individual opinion, and looking just straight at the facts, Loki during the first half, that was underwhelming. I understand because he was constantly getting marked and watched because he is so strong, but that first half wasn't good. And even the start of the second half, he was smiling like he was in Candyland but didn't score anything. It was the literal last 4 chapters where he started to turn things around immensely. He started to use his speed to his advantage, scoring goals, blocking a shot, and then did a solo 6-man run to score in the final minute. That was probably the single most impressive feat coming from this game, and I think that was good enough for us to say Loki is still one of the best. In my opinion, his other performances were a lot more threatening, like World 5 PXG. I'm sure you guys know what I mean, but nonetheless, he turned around for a great performance at the end. 2 goals is enough to bring Loki up to a 9 out of 10 ranking, but since he tied with Karasu, I'll just flat out say I think his 2 goals does place him above him to have him as the second best player for this match, although they deserve the same rank. And that wraps up every single player in Blue Lock's France versus Japan match ranked. So many underperformances, a decent amount of good performances, but overall, I had a fun time talking about the rankings, even though I had to slander some of my favorites. Let me know your ranking down below, whether you agree or disagree, but if you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. watching. YouTube really thinks you like this video right here, so be sure to check that one out too. I appreciate y'all so much, and I'll see y'all in the next one.